Hello there, and welcome back to more Final Fantasy VI. Last time, we ventured into the Zone Eater's belly, where we obtained our final party member in the form of Go-Go, the Mimic. Go-Go is quite the interesting individual, to say the least, but we won't be using them today, as today, we are going to be venturing into the Fanatic's Tower to see what awaits us in its various floors. Now, I say that, but why am I in Narsh? Well, I was reviewing footage for a previous episode earlier today as I'm recording this, and I realized that I kind of screwed something up, as, I actually need to grab an item here that I didn't actually get at all, so let me go ahead and grab a lock real quick, as there are a few areas that I didn't actually unlock just yet, like this building for one. Let's go inside here. And if we go downstairs in this building, there's an old man right here. Here, take it. The cursed shield. If only there was a way to lift the curse, it would be the finest shield in the world. Yeah, so we obtain a new item, the Cursed Shield, a bloodstained shield that inflicts various status ailments upon the bearer. And it also lowers your stats considerably. Now, I don't know how the hell I passed this up on our first trip over to Narsh. I pride myself in taking some decent notes for these playthroughs and these episodes, so I can look back on them and be like, okay, did I accomplish everything I wanted to do for this episode? Yes, no. But for some reason, I just didn't have the Cursed Shield in my notes, even though I knew it existed. So as soon as I was like, okay, cool, we got the Ragnarok weapon, we can go straight to the dragon's neck, we're all done here. Despite the fact that I know the Cursed Shield is there, I just completely forgot about it. Anyway, here, let's go talk to Go-Go. Okay, never mind, I guess Go-Go is not one to talk, but we also have our full crew here. Now, for the Fanatic's Tower, there is an interesting gimmick that I think we've talked to an NPC about already, but you're only allowed to use magic and items within the Fanatic's Tower. So I think it's pretty obvious that I'll be bringing my 4 primary magic users to this dungeon to be kind of like the main force, as they are going to be the ones who benefit the most from just using magic. But before we head straight to the Fanatic's Tower, there's one more stop I want to make. And that is right here in South Figaro. Now, that Cursed Shield that I just grabbed, there's something very unique about it, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet, and I'm not even going to use it right now. But trust me, that shield is, despite its negativity on like it lowering your stats, giving you various ailments, trust me when I say that shield is really, really good. But regardless, we're here in the relic shop of South Figaro because I want to buy one very specific relic, and that is the Reflect Ring. I want to buy 2 of these bad boys, so I have a total of 4. Now, the reason for this is because I am going to equip this on every single one of my casters. Now, the Reflect Ring, it reflects various magics back at its original caster. It will not not the angel ring. It will not reflect certain spells. For example, it will not reflect Strago's lore abilities, for example. And it also won't reflect certain support magics. I don't know, maybe for example, Re-Raise? It doesn't reflect Re-Raise, which is very, very nice. And by the way, Re-Raise is a spell that automatically revives the target the next time he or she is KO'd. I made sure to go ahead and grab that as soon as possible on Strago by giving him the Phoenix Magicite and just kind of fighting fights with him across these past few episodes, because Re-Raise and Reflect are going to be very, very important going into the Fanatic's Tower. Again, magic is the only thing you can use here. And that, for the most part, also goes for the enemies in here. And if they can't hurt me with a lot of different attacks, then there's not really much we can do. Well, they can do, at least. We can do quite a bit. Strago also has access to healing spells like White Winds, and he'll also have access to Re-Raise, so healing our party really won't be that difficult. And thankfully, we can also heal them outside of combat, because Reflect is not active on the overworld. But either way, that's the setup I have for the Fanatics Tower, so let's go ahead and just walk inside. Now, they haven't filled in their ranks here since Strago left, which is pretty good, I guess, but it's just a nice little hole, empty slot in the line here. You know, the Fanatics Tower is, well, one, it's very tall. This isn't even that final area up at the top there is not even the top of it. We have a lot to climb here. But the Fanatics Tower is really interesting in terms of concepts. It's pretty ironic, or at least I guess it's pretty funny, that there is an entire cult centered around Kefka because of his, you know, power and his inaction of despair and whatnot. But, like, there is no way Kefka even gives a crap about any of these guys. In fact, he probably finds it very amusing for these guys. Unfortunately, it seems like level 20 magic is going to be a little annoying here, and is going to reflect magic, which isn't ideal. Unfortunately, we also don't have access to lore magic, which is not great. But there is a way to deal with reflect. We just cast reflect magic on ourselves. Watch this. Fyraga. There's Break on it, which will cast Petrify, but it'll miss level 20 magic. If we cast Fyraga on everyone, it'll then reflect back onto the enemy, dealing quite a bit of damage. Yeah, pretty good. So if an enemy decides to reflect damage back at us, we can avoid it pretty quickly. Now, I need to make sure that... Alright, yeah, I do have EXP on, just most enemies aren't going to give me EXP here. There are some paths that we can take here that give us new items on the Fanatics Tower. For example, Safety Bit, which is technically a relic that I could have gotten a long time ago, but I just didn't think it was really necessary. But to go ahead and talk about it now, Safety Bit is a tiny sphere that orbits the owner's head, prevents petrification, zombie, and instant death. This is basically just another memento ring, but it's something that everyone can equip and not just Realm and Shadow. There's also a secret area right here next to this first treasure chest that opens up something that we can't really see right now, but there is now another door down here. We have this fight again. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and flee this. I don't oh, wait, never mind, we can't run away. Let's go ahead and go to Terra, and let's just spam Fyraga. Utilizing Terra's magic, or anyone who isn't Strago, using their magic isn't really going to be that big of a deal. So, I'm perfectly fine to just spam this stuff and get it over with. Now, I probably shouldn't auto-battle, to be fair, so I need to be mindful of that. But, oh hey, Celeste on Kiraga, nice. Let's go ahead and heal up Strago here. Let's use Celeste's magic to do this. There we go. Let's go down here, into this room. This leads us to another treasure chest, the Air Anchor. Now, that is a tool for Edgar. It's, interesting, I guess. Oh, level 40 magic. Hello, you're new. Let's go ahead and cast Fyraga on, I guess, just various users. There's Drain, which isn't really going to do all that much. And then I guess we can go ahead and have everyone else defend right now. I only did one Fyraga with Terra, which is unfortunate, but it looks like this is some pretty decent damage. As Fyraga, Realm and Terra are going to be mostly doing the heavy magic attack carrying here. There we go. Nice. There are 10 enemies in this dungeon, if I remember correctly. There are level 10 through 90 magics, and one more just kind of random enemy. I'll be on the lookout for all of them. But I'm not going to make fighting these guys a main priority, honestly. I'm going to be trying to just kind of scale the tower because there's just a lot of floors, and I would like to just kind of get to the end as soon as possible. Let's go ahead and encounter maybe a few enemies here. I think there is... Actually, no. Let's turn off encounters real quick. Now, let's try to get to this third segment of the tower. We're on the second segment right now. We have another treasure chest here with a Genji shield, which is... I think actually our first time seeing a Genji shield. I don't know if Terra can equip it. I believe she can. Yeah, Genji shield. No special effects, but it has quite a bit of defense and evasion, which is pretty good. Go ahead and leave this room. Enter over here. What are we looking at? Okay, now we're in the third segment of the tower. We can go ahead and turn encounters back on because there's going to be a lot more enemies who are on this screen. 70, 40, 50. I think all of those are completely new. Let's go ahead and use Thundara. And then... I don't think Bio is actually going to work on these. Yeah, they're going to defend. They're going to drain that. If we cast Thundara, let's see how that works. Now, obviously, I could do much more than that, but... Okay, decent damage. Okay, then let's do Thundara then. And then let's have Celeste defend here. And then we can have Terra go ahead and also use Thundaga. Perfect. Thankfully, the Reflect really hinders a lot of these enemies. It's pretty funny, honestly, how horribly weak these enemies become whenever you have 4 Reflect rings and you're just kind of reflecting off of yourself when casting magic. Now, a lot of these enemies have very fast ATB bars, which allows them to just act constantly. But thankfully, we shouldn't have any major issues with, like, having to be overwhelmed by attacks, since Reflect kind of carries us through this entire dungeon. There we go. This guy, okay, I was about to say, man, this dude's tanky. There we go. Got Kiraga and Arise. I think every character in my party now has maxed out their... Oh, no. Realm is still working on Phoenix. I guess we can give Terra Fenrir, I guess? I mean, she doesn't really... I guess we could work on Lakshmi for her. Give Celeste, Valley Garmanda, even though she doesn't really need it. Give Strago, Midgard Stormer, and Realm is still working on Phoenix. There we go. We can move up now. Go to this room. Get ourselves... Oh, hello. There's a dragon right there. I don't want to mess with those dragons just yet. Level 90 magic. Ooh, quite nice. Okay, I guess we can go ahead and have Celeste join in all the fun with the Reflect spamming. Flare is a pretty dangerous spell, so I'm glad that I'm able to reflect it off. Let's see if Blizzard magic works. It does. Perfect. We can go ahead and do that then. Blizzaga spam. And then we'll have Strago defend. I want to keep his MP up as high as possible because he's going to be very imperative for a later segment of this dungeon. Let's try to keep away from the dragon here. We got a Kaganui. I think I'm pronouncing that right. That, I believe, is a dagger, if memory serves correct. Yes. Ninja sword that may cast stop upon striking an enemy. With 220 attack. That's not bad. I might replace the Ichigeki with that on Shadow. Almost got hit by that dragon there. I do not want to fight that dragon just yet. Just don't want to do that. 70, 40, 50. We can't flee from fights, so we just kind of have to deal with this ourselves. We use Thunder Magic. That was our best way of doing it last time, so we're just going to do that again. Pretty self-explanatory gameplay loop here. But, with all of that done, we still have another segment to go. There should only be maybe one more enemy to go, potentially? There's 60 magic. I don't think I've... Yeah, no, I think 60 magic's all I got. Meltdown, unfortunately, I cannot deal with by reflecting because it is a one of those spells that just kind of bypasses it, which sucks, but that's just how it is. There's Holy, which level 90 uses Flare, level 60 is using Holy Magic, which is interesting. It killed itself thanks to its Holy spell. There's Thundara, which should do a pretty decent chunk of damage. There's Re-Raise. Bro, don't spoil what I'm going to be doing later. Come on. That's mean. There's Flare. It is a little sadistic that they cast Re-Raise and then try to flare you. They're like, oh, I'm going to kill you, then I'm going to raise you, then I'm going to kill you, then I'm going to raise you. Sadistic little freaks. Very much Cult of Kefka, you know? If they're that sadistic. I still don't think Kefka even really cares about these guys at all. He's probably laughing that they're even trying to worship him. Force Armor. Nice. See what that looks like. Halves damage for multiple elements. That's pretty good. If you have a tank character, might not be a bad idea to grab that. Level 50 magic, we've seen this guy quite often already, so we can deal with him in any way we really want to. I gotta say, the level 50 magic, like, sprite design is really cool. I don't know, I just think it's really... I think it, like, the skeleton with, like, the red fire behind its back with the staff. Oh, man, it's really cool. A lot of the enemy designs in this dungeon are really nice. But they must all die the same. Okay, let's go ahead and go up. And we have reached the peak of the Fanatic's Tower. Honestly, it's kind of underwhelming. I know I mentioned it previously, but I wonder if, like, a lot of the denizens of Zozo became members of the Fanatic's Tower, because this is very similar in terms of architecture and design to the cities of Zozo, the buildings and skyscrapers. Anyways, what is on the top floor of the 39th floor of the Fanatic's Tower, or the Cultist's Tower? It's the Soul of Thamasa. Now, that relic is interesting. An ancient Thamazan orb that bears a wondrous power. Changes the magic command to dual cast. Basically, if you have the Soul of Thamasa equipped on a character, they can cast 2 magics within 1 action. It's not like a chain spell where they cast the same magic twice in a row. You can cast literally 2 completely different magics in the same action. You still have to rely on your MP. It's not like you get one of them for free, so you need to keep in mind about that. But that is really strong, being able to cast 2 magic spells at once. Speaking of, Strago, buddy ol' pal, I'm going to give that to you. At least for right now. Give everyone the Reflect Ring, make sure Soul Thamasa's on Strago. We just waltz right out of here. We've taken down most of these guys. Terra, why you stop? Oh, we've got friends. Unfortunately, this is the 39th floor. I don't think jumping from the top is going to be the best bet. Okay, well, Lord Kefka's treasure. Return the treasure. I'd rather not. Oh, is that Mr. Bossman? Johnny! Johnny, is that you? What are you doing here? No, you're not Johnny. You wouldn't worship Kefka. No, unfortunately, it isn't Johnny. It's, something a little bit more dangerous. This entity is the Magic Master. Very similar to the enemy we fought in the Magitech Research Facility, where he will change his weaknesses whenever you attack him. The main idea here actually is to basically cast Re-Raise on your entire party, have Reflect, and literally just sit and wait for him to kill himself. As long as you do not act, whether it is Libra or anything, he will not change his weakness, and whenever he starts the fight, he doesn't have any weaknesses. So whenever he just casts magic, and only magic, he will be constantly dealing damage to himself without being able to mitigate it. So this just becomes a very quick waiting game. Now, the Magic Master has a very set pattern of attacks, and you're going to see him casting magic constantly. Thundaga, Blizzaga on everyone, Fire-Aga on single targets, even stuff like Bio, Death, Silence. He's going to be constantly casting on our characters, but it isn't going to do anything. Magic Master has a lot of HP, and honestly, this is the main way that I would suggest you go about this encounter. If you don't want to use a strategy, and you got the Ragnarok Esper, literally teach like 2 or 3 of your party members Ultima, bring in Go-Go, and literally just have them spam Ultima, and he'll go down without any problem. Speaking of Ultima, whenever the Magic Master runs out of HP, he uses Ultima, wiping your entire team, which is why I brought Re-Raise. Bring Re-Raise here because otherwise you will fail the encounter and you won't be able to progress. But that was pretty simple. That is the reason why I brought Re-Raise here, so we could actually live that. Now, it wasn't pretty, but yeah, that is how I planned on dealing with that encounter. It went by really fast. I actually don't even think I really need to explain it anymore. It's a pretty standard fight. There are just so many ways to cheese that boss encounter. You can berserk him, so he only does physical attacks, and then you can like make yourself invisible, and then just spam non-elemental magic. There's so many ways to deal with this boss that it's really crazy. But anyway, though, unfortunately, I don't think we can teleport out of this dungeon. No, we cannot, so we have to go the long way around. So, I'll see you back down at the bottom of the Fanatic's Tower. That was a pretty short video. It was a pretty short adventure. But I do think that is actually where we're going to call it for today. Now, I did say earlier that we had a few longer adventures upcoming. And for anyone who's played Final Fantasy VI, you probably know that there's one big thing that I haven't done just yet. So next time on Final Fantasy VI, we're going to be taking care of what I would consider to be the last major piece of content before we kind of do our last little bit of wrap-up and lore grinding and level grinding and what have you, before we go on and take on Kefka's Tower. So, one last big thing to go, and then we're on the last stretch. So, with that said, I'll see you soon.